Good day, my friend. Today, this eve, the second one today. The second discussion deals with something which I think would be so fantastic. The idea of what would happen, pray tell, if President Trump pulls his wild card. What if he pardons, commutes the sentence of Ghislaine Maxwell? How would that be received by the deep state? Would it? Would it not be a great idea? We'll discuss that in its entirety. I'd love to hear from you what your thoughts and comments are. But please, my friends, please, you know the routine. Like this video. You must like it. It helps us tremendously. Subscribe to the channel. The number of people who watch us who don't subscribe or who are unsubscribed blows my mind. So please, we need that. We ask of you, ladies and germs, to do this as well. And I thank you, and I'm so glad you're here. And it honors me that you would take time out of your important and busy day to grace the portals of our humble abode, our humble channel. Trump's nuclear option, why a Maxwell pardon would terrify the establishment. If President Trump were to pardon Ghislaine Maxwell, the move would detonate like a political tsunami, an earthquake, and instantly dominate global headlines. You know it would. It would be the story that drowns out every other story. It would shock the permanent class of power brokers. It would shake the corporate media. It would send the so-called intelligence community, the intel folks, the spooks, into full-blown panic. Why? Because in truth, this would not be a pardon of Ghislaine Maxwell, the individual. It would be a pardon of Maxwell, the archive, Maxwell, the vault, Maxwell, the carrier of secrets, too radioactive to ever be allowed into the sunlight. And her silence as to the president would be forever guaranteed by virtue of the pardon. You see, the presidential pardon power is absolute for federal crimes. Ghislaine Maxwell was convicted on federal charges, which means that Trump alone has the authority to unlock her cell. No court, no governor, no congressional committee, no CNN commentator can interfere. With a single stroke of his pen, she walks. But here's the real calculus. In doing so, Trump wouldn't merely free her. He would own her. You see, her freedom would not be the mercy of a system. Oh, no. It would be, in that sense, the gift of one man. And loyalty, born of survival, can be, my friends, the most potent loyalty of all. Do you catch what I'm saying here? It's called owning the narrative. You see, the radical left and its media mouthpieces would immediately scream about protecting predators. It's true. Oh, they would insist. They would howl. They would say that this is proof of their endless fiction that Trump was somehow part of Epstein's dark and cavernous and sick and fetid world. Yet those same voices, those same people, those same individuals have spent years ignoring the real scandal. The suppressed client list, the sealed flight logs, the shredded evidence, the quiet deals, all stuck in, I don't know, some backroom reference off the record to keep the names off the record, not of the headlines. You see, a pardon could flip the entire narrative. You see, Ghislaine Maxwell, liberated from gag orders and the invisible shackles of DOJ control, would suddenly be able to speak and to publish and announce and to turn everything upside down, to testify and reveal. Ask yourself, who do you think would be more afraid of that? The Clintons, whose connections to Epstein, oh my God, are a matter of record. Bill Gates and Andrew, and oh my God. former presidents, princes, financiers, moguls, intel assets, certain countries, Hollywood darlings, the whole sordid tapestry and fetid cabal and the consortium of the global elite. Every last one of them, every single one, has spent years resting easy, knowing that Ghislaine was locked up, silenced, controlled. A Trump pardon changes everything, changes that instantly. See, it rips the lock off the vault, the scab off the wound, and it dares the world, dare I say, to look inside. What do you think? Huh? What do you think? You see, symbolism that cuts like a knife is really what we're talking about right here. You think about it. See, this wouldn't be an endorsement of Ghislaine Maxwell's conduct. No, it would be an act of symbolic warfare. See, by pardoning the woman who holds the keys to the kingdom of elite depravity, Trump would declare open season on the system that buried Epstein. That's right. The system that erased his files, that conveniently lost the cameras on the very night he supposedly offed himself. He would signal that he, and not the bureaucracy, but that he controls the narrative now. Isn't that fascinating? Do you see what's happening right now, my friends? Do you grasp this? Is there anybody right now who thinks, oh, this is ridiculous. This is far. This would never happen. Anybody? Anybody who dares think, come on. Come on. Who was president when Epstein died? Remember that one? Died. We'll just leave it at died. Who was president? Who was president? Trump was. Do you think Trump had anything to do with that? You think Trump knew? You think? What would be the what would make these people free? Because nobody's freaked out about the John Bolton search warrant. Hillary's walking free. Everybody figures they've got nothing to worry about. You see, every presidency, this is important, every presidency is defined by symbols and symbology and semiotics. Some are banal, some are corny, but some are really important. Some are seismic, some are huge. A Maxwell pardon would be the latter. It would be enormous. See, it would communicate that Trump is willing to go where no other leader dares. Trump had nothing to do with his offing. Nothing. Trump would say that he will drag the secrets of the ruling class into the light, even if it means walking through fire. Now, I don't know how likely this would be to happen, but just imagine. You know what it would be? It would be wonderful. You see, the precedent of power is what's fascinating. You know, we've seen Donald Trump, bless his heart. We've seen Trump wield the pardon before, and always with a devastating effect. He has shown incredible. He pardoned Roger Stone, Paul Manafort, Joe Arpaio, others, Owen Schroyer, and a host of other people, and each time triggering waves of outrage. But look at the pattern. Every pardon was a message. Every pardon, a gauntlet thrown at the feet of his enemies. Everyone a message. Everyone. Pardons are not just instruments of mercy. They're weapons. Weapons. Serious weapons. Loud shrieks of thunderbolts hurled into the machinery of the establishment or whatever. I mean, it's huge. Think about this. A Maxwell pardon would be the ultimate thunderbolt, the ultimate cataclysm. It would force all kinds of folks to have discussions or conversations or talking that would have been suppressed for decades. It would compel the media for the first time. By the way, to lose, remember, they wouldn't be in charge of their own narrative. See, up till now, they decide the narrative. No, we do. They do. It would compel the media to cover the names that they have pretended not to know. It would freak people out. It would break the quarantine. And he could also blame her. He could also say, look, I don't know what this would do to her particular safety, but it would make everybody aware of something even bigger. It would be huge. It would break the quarantine that the justice system has placed around the whole Epstein scandal. And it would leave Trump standing as the one man who dared to break the seal, dared to reveal the truth, to let the floodgates open. Wouldn't it be great? It would be the ultimate. And you could imagine the controlled hysteria. Make no mistake, my friends, make no mistake. The backlash would be absolutely ferocious. Editorial boards would be going crazy accusing Trump of siding with monsters. They don't care about that. They don't care about children or anybody hurt. They're just afraid, wait a minute, who's gonna be hurt by this? Cable networks would air 24-hour panels dissecting, grainy photographs. And the hysterics, you can almost hear it now. The hysterics would be scripted in advance. They would know exactly what they were going to say. But beneath the noise and beneath all this nonsense would be something far more interesting, far more important, far more critical, far more tempting. Curiosity. That's it. You know what it did to the cat? But it's curiosity. See, because if Ghislaine Maxwell is free, she can speak, she can write, she can testify, she can reveal, she can do interviews, she can reveal the networks of power and sex and blackmail that nobody, and remember, they left her to dry. She can bring everybody from Diddy to you name it. Blackmail that everyone suspects, but no one in power has ever been allowed to be proven. She knows it. She's seen it. And somebody will say she should have been taken care of. Why they let her go, nobody will ever figure out. The very hysteria meant to destroy President Trump could create a tidal wave of attention for Ghislaine Maxwell's testimony. Absolutely true. Suddenly, the world would want to know what she knows. Suddenly, all of a sudden, people say, wait, who is she? Let's tell us about this. Suddenly, the story would no longer be about shielding the rich and powerful, but about exposing them. And it would be the ultimate FU and double cross in the world. Trump will be letting them have it, hoist by their own petard, their own kind. He owns the vault. You see, this is the essence of the calculation. He owns the narrative. He owns the vault. He owns the safe. By pardoning Ghislaine Maxwell, Trump would, in effect, hold the keys to her testimony and whatever truth is elicited. He would be the liberator. He would be the protector. The man, once and for all, who gave her a second chance, who recognized the fact that she herself was a victim. That she was, now granted, it might be a bit of a stretch. I'll take it. In return, she would be far more likely to align her revelations in a way that strengthens the Trump message and his position. And whether formal cooperation or merely symbolic, I mean, imagine what old Alan Dershowitz would say. What would he say about that? You see, this wouldn't be merely symbolic gratitude. This effect would be the most incredible. Trump would not only control the pardon, he would control the fallout, the reaction. It would be the ultimate to take all this. You wouldn't worry. Believe me. She's the list. She's the file. She's the document. She's the log. She's the black book. She's everything. And that is precisely what terrifies the permanent ruling class. Absolutely. They can manage the scandals. They're always in charge, but they can also ride out the leaks. But what they cannot control, and this is what's the most interesting, what they can't control is a Ghislaine Maxwell unbound, untrammeled, unaffected, unharnessed, so to speak, unchained, free, liberated. And together they would form a narrative, listen to me, that the establishment could not suppress. Oh, it would be delicious. Absolutely glorious. And the end game, oh my God. Oh, can you imagine this? Imagine the pardon of Ghislaine Maxwell. It wouldn't be about her crimes. It's not about her innocence. It's about their crimes. It's about the names that remain hidden. It's about the networks that still exist, the networks that remain protected. Now, as we speak, the hypocrisy, the utter rank and naked hypocrisy that has been allowed to fester under a veneer of justice, a veneer, a film, a synthetic tissue. Maxwell is the key. And the establishment has locked her away precisely so no one can use that key. Well, let's see about this now. What do you think, my friends? What's your take? And Trump, ever the wrecking ball, because he hasn't forgotten, he could smash that, lock that system tomorrow. And in doing so, he would own the story, own the fallout, own everything, and own the fear coursing through every hallway and boardroom and every phone call and conversation from Wall Street to Washington to Buckingham Palace. Oh my God. She's talking. She's talking. Because up till now, remember, she was there. She couldn't say anything because she wouldn't say anything because she didn't know what would happen. But by her saying, you go ahead, and it's a tacit understanding. He won't turn on her because there's nothing to turn on. He wasn't involved in it. A Maxwell pardon would not be mercy. It would be a weapon. It would not absolve anybody. It would expose the truth and the actors and the bad folks. It would be Trump's way of saying to the world, you want the truth? Fine. Here it is. I'll unleash it. Here she is. Hit it. Go ahead. Talk about everybody. And it'd be even harder because she could tell, the old line, I'm not of the mindset to harm myself. I've got nothing, and they'll try everything. They'll threaten her family, whatever. She's been pardoned. It's a different story. And that's why the very prospect terrifies the elites who pretend to rule. Because in feeling this way, Trump, by freeing her, Trump wouldn't be protecting her at all. He would be daring her to speak, daring her to burn down everything. Wouldn't that be glorious? Wouldn't you just love to see these people squirm and hoot and holler and yell? It would be so wonderful. The pardon power, my friend, is a very, very serious thing. It is the most underestimated, underutilized tool when strategically and carefully used. It's one of the greatest weapons in American politics. And if it's used wisely, it can reshape and recalibrate history. Using it boldly, it can topple and destroy empires. And if Trump chooses the nuclear option, the empire, this coordination, this cabal of lies that's protected the powerful for decades, guess what? That's over. And it would find itself this time wondering, oh no, trembling. Because, my friends, we need something desperate. How many of you have said, Mr. President, please do something? How many of you? How many? How many? Freddie Haddad just gifted 10 memberships. Teddy, you are the best. Or Freddie. I call him Teddy sometimes because I'm that way. What say you? No, you don't know. This is too much. And I recognize this. It's a Sunday. This isn't your speed. Come on. I'm not gut bucket. I'm not making a bunch of little jokes. This is real dark stuff. I would love it. Say, Ghislaine, go for it. None of these bastards help you. They used you. They abused you. And they just figured they own you. No, they don't. You own you. I love it. I love it more than anything you can imagine. And we'll see what happens with that respect. So I also talked to you. We did a wonderful piece today on our friends regarding Zoran Mamdani and how many of you folks have a hard time understanding the fact that I know this is difficult, he is not necessarily a story just of New York. He is a story that other people deal with as well. It's a very, very serious thing. And it's, listen, I'm reading this, they keep talking about this upcoming deep state indictments. We'll see what happens. We'll see what. DeSantis orders removal of gay pride crosswalks. Disney wants men back in theaters after years of catering to feminism. We're seeing something that's changing radically and drastically. We're seeing something. I'm telling you, we're also seeing Democrats and other people really pushing to fight and to basically taunting the president, taunting him. So let me explain something also. And believe it or not, you could laugh all you want. The Cracker Barrel stories and others and the DEI and ESG, that is still one of the biggest things possible, because that goes to deal with one of the aspects of the radical left that we find the most terrible, and that is the fact of how it affects our culture. Do not dismiss this as crazy. Do not dismiss this as meaningless. Do not dismiss this as unimportant. Believe me when I tell you this. It's one of the most important things around. And I cannot say it enough, and I cannot put it into words enough. We're under attack in so many directions, not only in terms of crime and government, but you've got actual mayors, black, not all, but mostly black mayors, Muriel Bowser, that feller from Chicago, telling people, resist and fight not only ICE, but resist those individuals who are trying to incorporate and to infuse government action and activity, specifically that involving something very, very important, very, very critical. And that is the sense of law and order. Absolutely critical. Law and order. And what the president is doing is he is actively involving, imparting, and he's putting people on the ground, so to speak. Goose Down Stories says Mamdani participated in a weightlifting challenge but could not bench press 135 pounds. That is the minimal amount on the bar. That is it. Those are just the 245-pound plates. That's it. Well, what does it tell you? I don't know. I know for our androgenic society, that might mean something. So anyway, my friends, yes or no? Thank you. Do you believe that President Trump should pardon Ghislaine Maxwell? Yes or no? Yes or no? 1 for yes, 2 for no. Let's hear it. Come on, let's go. Just very simple. You don't have to write yes. You don't have to say anything. 1 for yes, 2 for no. That's it. Should he do it? Hillbilly says no, don't do it. Travis says yes. Beijing Yank, no idea. Yes, no, yes. When was the last time Trump did anything that really freaked out the radical left? Never. Name one thing that Trump ever did to freak. What? You think the John Bolton pardon? Didn't matter. Didn't mean a damn thing to anybody, my friends. Think about it. Oh, I want it. It doesn't matter. She did her time. She is not by any stretch of the imagination innocent. Believe me when I tell you that. That's, of course, why she's being pardoned. That's a whole nother story. So anyway, my friends, that's the way that goes. Thanks so much for being a part of us on this Sunday. Give you 2 for 1. You were absolutely magnificent tonight. Your input was without peer. Brilliant as usual. Brilliant. Scintillating. Absolutely monumentally just without peer. And I thank you. Don't forget to like this, like the video, subscribe to the channel. 84% of the people who watch us do not subscribe or are unsubscribed through some kind of mechanism. I don't even know about that. Don't forget Lynn's Warriors and Lionel Legal. All right, dear friends, have a great and a glorious, happy, whatever it is of Sunday. We'll see you tomorrow. Don't forget 5 o'clock. From 1 to 5, WABC. Make sure you listen overnights all the time. Until then, my friends, remember these words. The monkey's dead. The show's over. Sue you.